Howdy folks, it's Matt out in Hillsboro, Oregon. Today I was going to talk about Susan Sarandon. She's been in the news today, and she has been criticized by people like Jamie Lee Curtis about some of the statements that she made to Chris Hayes on MSNBC. She's been criticized and said that she basically said she was going to vote for Donald Trump if Hillary Clinton got the nomination. If you watch the interview, this is completely untrue. She never said anything of the sort, and she just simply stated that it would be very difficult for it could be very difficult for progressives who are Bernie supporters to vote for Hillary Clinton, and she said likewise. Now, if you're a progressive, if you're a Bernie supporter, you probably can understand where she's coming from. It is a difficult decision. If you listen to the news, if you watch shows like Bill Maher, even Bill Maher has been critical to a certain extent of Bernie supporters, saying that this is not a quote, but saying that that Bernie supporters have been they want it all or nothing, and they can't risk having a Trump presidency, so they need to vote for Hillary Clinton. And so, Bill Maher's been personally sued by Donald Trump after some statements that he made, which were pretty funny. But anyway, so obviously he's had a bad experience with Donald Trump. And hey, I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there that have been sued by Donald Trump. And nobody wants to see a Donald Trump presidency, me included. So there's an argument that if if Hillary was to win the nomination, that not voting for her would help Trump. And it would. I mean, there's no doubt about that. The fact is that, nobody wants to see, nobody on the progressive side, no Bernie supporters want to see Trump as president, without question. The fact is that we also are not sure if we can sacrifice our integrity, our values, our beliefs, the progressive cause in order to aid and abet a corrupt system that Hillary Clinton works with, supports, and represents. And she's shown this by being for free trade, which has taken jobs out of America and moved them into other countries where they have to pay people less money. She's just another corporate Democrat. She takes money from Wall Street. She's taking money from Big Pharma, from her super PACs. So she has a lot of investors. And if you think that she's not going to represent them when she gets into office, then you're just being naive, because, there have been you look as close as Obama. Now, the argument for Obama was that, well, maybe he's working within the system. Maybe he's taking money from these interests, but when he gets into office, maybe he'll change, because maybe that's the only way that you can really compete against somebody like Hillary Clinton. I mean, we all know Obama ran his campaign on the word change, but the fact is that we didn't really get change. We got an element of it, but not nearly enough. And even with his nomination of Merrick Garland, we can see how progressive he is, and it's not very much. Hillary Clinton she's cut from the same cloth, and the naivete of Hillary supporters that think that she's going to get in office and just suddenly change her ways it's just we have a hard time as progressives really understanding that. Hillary Clinton can change her views on things like gay marriage, which she changed her decision on in 2013. But the fact is that she doesn't do it until it's politically safe for her to do this. She even says she's a progressive now, when it's so easy to lie. It's so easy to say that. But when you look at her record and you look at the people that she represents and the interests that she represents, that she's not telling the truth. And Bernie Sanders doesn't take money from Wall Street. He doesn't take those interests. Maybe he could have. In many ways, you could have argued that it would have helped him to take money from super PACs. But the fact is that those interests don't want to invest in Bernie Sanders. And even if they did, he wouldn't want their money because he has integrity and it goes against everything that he stands for, everything that he believes. So, he's done it in a way that's the way that we'd like to see everybody run, from people that are really, people like you and me that are really interested in supporting a person like Bernie Sanders. And we really believe in what he says. And he's been in politics for 25 years. He's never taken corporate interests. He hasn't represented them. He's represented middle class. He's represented progressive values. He's represented the Constitution. And Hillary Clinton, she just has a much worse record. It's not that she's as bad as Donald Trump. It's just that if you support Hillary Clinton, then you're just supporting a corrupt system. You're basically aiding and abetting to her interests. And if you look into, if you do the taste test, Hillary Clinton says she's a progressive, but she's like progressive. If she was a soft drink, she would be progressive light. All the progressive tastes with half the calories. If you do the taste test, between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, you'll realize the real thing when you see it. So look at their politics, look at the way that they voted, look at who they represent, look at the policies that they've chosen to vote for and stand up for. So if you're voting for Hillary Clinton for any other reason other than her policies, then you're just doing yourself a disservice. And this is such an important race. And the reason why progressive Bernie Sanders supporters have a hard time pulling the lever for Hillary Clinton, people like Susan Sarandon as well, is because we finally got a progressive. We finally have somebody that really represents our values, that really walks the walk and talks the talk. And so we feel that we're selling out. We're doing a dance with the devil. We're sacrificing our integrity. And for people like Bill Maher to be critical of that, I think is wrong. And if you're a Bernie supporter and Hillary does win the nomination and you choose to vote for her, that's up to you. I mean, I wouldn't criticize you either way. It's just that it's going to be a hard decision. And if you live in a blue state, I live in Oregon, so it's going to go to the Democrat no matter what. If you live in a purple state, then you have much more of a difficult choice. But if you don't decide to vote for Hillary Clinton, I would not criticize you one bit. That's a personal choice that you have to make, and it's a shit sandwich either way. It's just that one has a little more shit than the other one. But that's up to you. But let's just keep working for Bernie Sanders, and hopefully we won't have to deal with that. And we can vote for Bernie in the general election. So feel the burn, folks. Go out there and do whatever you can to represent Bernie Sanders, and I'll keep doing what I'm doing. Have a good one.